Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's trades and the weekly recap. Before I get into the recap, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section on the social media accounts. Also, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. These videos take time to make, and this is how you learn, so that's why it's important for you guys to actually watch these. Now, I did finish the week last week with 27 wins and 3 losses for a 90% win rate, so I'm very pleased with the week, except the last couple of days it's been kind of challenging to play, but regardless, it was a very good week. So with that said, I'll just get right into the trades now. Monday the 18th, I took let's see the trade ideas channel first, which is, if you're unfamiliar with that, that is where I post 2 to 3 plays for the market opens, except I haven't been really playing them that much lately at the first 10-15 minutes, because there's been so many fake outs. I've been kind of like waiting out the first 10-15 minutes because of that, but I still post the ideas in case people want to take it. There are a few tickers that I will take right at open, like Tesla, because it will go right away, and Baba is one of them. So, but the rest I'll kind of wait it out, because they kind of fake out, like Microsoft and Roku. They always seem to fake out. But yeah, on Monday I said Microsoft calls over 280 and SPY puts under 436. So I did take SPY puts at 952. Let me get Monday up first of all, which is right here. Now I said, what did I say, pre-market? 436, which is down here, right in this area right here. As you can see, it popped up. It did not even come back down, so I waited till 952, which is right here in this red candle. This is where I took it. You can see it pop back up and get a little bit of a pivot right here. You can see it. This was resistance right here from Friday. Came up to it and had put in this top tail doji candle right here, and the next red candle started to come down. This is where I ended up grabbing it. So I think I ended up playing the range on this day pretty well. So I grabbed it right here, right underneath VWAP. I grabbed the 439 puts at $1.76, and they went from $1.76 to $2.63 in that little drop right there. So that was a nice play. I got it. I got the in the money puts. I didn't go out of the money. I've been trying to, if the option prices aren't too expensive, especially on SPY, they're not really too bad unless there's a lot of volatility. Then they're kind of expensive, but I usually try to get in the money, if not at the money. So that's what I did. I got in the money puts on this one. Then I ended up switching to SPX because it was fairly cheap for the rest of the day. So at 1044, which is right here, this red candle double topping right here. Well, I guess say triple topping, 1, 2, 3, right there. To come back down, this is where I ended up grabbing the 43.75 puts at $3.70, and then went from 370 to 1110. So that was a nice monster move right there. 300, well, actually 150% move on that one. Then I ended up playing SPX puts again at 112. 112, right here. As you can see, I had this big dump. See, the one thing you got to watch out for on SPY, because it loves to do this, is it'll have a nice red run drop right here. Then it will have put in a solid green candle, get the longs in and the bulls in. Then what they'll do is they'll come back and flush it down to a new lower day afterwards, take out stops, because most people that will buy right here, they'll put the stop at lower day. And when they do put the stop at lower day, they stop them out, then they rip it. So they always end up doing this kind of a move. So when it actually did bounce from lower day up to VWAP, that's where I took the rejection on VWAP. So I took the VWAP rejection and I had the 43.70 puts at 380, and they went from 380 to 610 right there in that little drop. Then I ended up switching over to calls at I didn't want to take calls right here. I probably should have, but I mean, look at this monster candle. I wouldn't have been able to. I would have chased that like crazy, and I just didn't. So so I took calls at 224, which is right 224. This candle right here. Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah, because you got 1, 2, 3, 4. It came back down. So you had 4 taps right here in this 439.50 area. Rejected here, came back down. Then it quickly came right back up. So I grabbed it right here. The 44.20 calls at 285. They went from 285 to $4 on a little pop. I really thought we're going to get a strong pop right out of this. The one thing you need to know is about SPY. What it likes to do is anytime you have a strong move, it likes to have a choppy day the next day, then strong move the next. So you can see a strong move here, chop, and strong move, except this right here, Thursday and Friday, you had a 25-point drop in 2 days. That's just, there's going to be a monster short squeeze on probably Monday. But anyways, yeah, I grabbed that little play right there. And then I ended up grabbing calls at 337, which is right here. I grabbed it right here because it's been staying in the range. It stayed within the higher day, and I bought it right at the lower day, so I took the chance it was going to stay in the range. The really scary part thing is buying puts at the top of a range on a narrow range day and buying calls at the bottom of the range, because SPY can break out and flush on the drop of a dime, and you'll get it wrong, and you get it wrong really bad. So it's really scary taking puts a higher day and calls at lower day and a narrow range day. So I mean narrow range. I mean, it's what, 4 points. And that's pretty narrow from what SPY has been trading at the last few months. So I had a good feeling it was going to stay in the range, but if it didn't, it didn't. Whatever. It's part of trading. You get some wrong, you get some right. So, but yeah, I had the 43.80 calls at 3:30, and it did. It bounced right off lower day, and it had a strong end of the day close. And those 43.80 calls went from 370 to 1170. 200% move end of day right there. So that was a nice strong move on SPY for Monday. Now on Tuesday, Tuesday I only had 4 plays. Tuesday I did not do very well. I took 440 calls at 937. What I say in the trade ideas room. SPY puts under 436.50, Netflix calls over 340, and Microsoft calls over 281. Now I said puts under 436.50, which is lower day, did not pop up. Popped up. I waited out the first 10 minutes, and I grabbed it right here at 947, which is the next 10-minute candle. I think I grabbed it right over. Yeah, I think I grabbed it right here over pre-market highs right here. So yeah, I did grab it here. I grabbed the 440 calls at 222, and they went from 222 to 489 if he held all the way through. Some people in the room actually held most of it, so they did really well if they did. Just these moves have been really, really strong. I decided to try and call the top a couple times, and it just did not work out for me. I grabbed, let's say, SPY 442 puts at 1007, which is right here. Now, why did I grab it there? Let's see. Oh yeah, I grabbed it here. No, I did not grab it there. I got the 10-minute candle on this one. Let me bring it over to the hourly. There was a reason why I grabbed it there. You just blow up this area. What day is this? Yeah, this is pivot right in here. This is where I grabbed it, right in here, the 441, 442 area, 442. Yeah, right here you get a lot of, you can see it, get a little bit of resistance here, resistance here, resistance here. So I took it right here. I bought the 442 puts at 261, and it just kept going. Then I ended up adding to the position. I bought more at 229 and making my net average 232. I think this is the one where I had I averaged down on two of them that day, and one of them I didn't sell any, and I had 10 and I added 90, so brought my average down quite a bit. So let's see where I took it at. Let's see, I have to look at the time stamp in the room because I'm not seeing it. Let's see what the timestamp is. 10:13. So 10. Wait a minute. 10:07 to 10:13. 10:07. 10:07 right here. I got it right into this candle apparently. So yeah. This is where let me just bring it down to the 1 minute. You can see it better. Hopefully I can actually get that day on here. What day is this? The 20th? I think I have to actually add a day. There we go. There we go. Let's blow it up. At 10:07. Okay, grabbed it here. And this is where it popped up. It had that exaggerated move. This is where I averaged down right here. Yeah, so this is where I grabbed it. I averaged down right here at the 10:13, right up here. And this is where, yeah, because my new average was 232, and they went from 232 to 254 in that little push right there. So yeah, there was heavy resistance right here at the 442 area right here. So I was playing into that. And of course, when I averaged down and as soon as they turned green, those puts, I got out. And when SPY likes to act stupid, it acts stupid, and I'm just going to get out of its way. So that's what I ended up doing. So then I ended up grabbing puts again at 1025, which is right 1025 right here. No, 1025 right here. Okay, I got this move here and it popped up again, and for some reason I grabbed it here. I grabbed it here again and it just popped and it just chopped, and I ended up taking a loss on that one. So I actually ended up if I remember correctly, I did take it, and this is one that I took 10 and I sold a few, and I had like 7. Then I ended up adding like 93 cons and bringing my average from 218 to 184 because I added more, 172. So yeah, I got it here, popped on me and added more. I don't usually like averaging down, but I don't mind doing it if I'm in the money or at the money and it's a non-expiration day. They don't get really burnt that much. But yeah, so I ended up selling them for a loss at like 90 cents or something like that. I mean, took a little bit of a $4,000 or $5,000 loss on that, but no big deal. I made them all back the next day and this day, so later on in the day. So I made most of it back on the last play of the day, which I did have SPX puts. I went to actually, because this was a non-expiration day, I did have SPX puts at 329, which is right here. I grabbed SPX 4460 puts at $14.90. Very, very expensive. I was very kind of upset and annoyed that I took a big of a loss on that last SPY puts, and SPY just keeps going and going. And you also got to look at it from the point of view that range. SPY has a lot to do with range. SPY has a tendency of playing in certain ranges, so when you're having exaggerated ranges like a 10-point day without news, that it's going to end up bouncing or dropping. You don't buy calls after a 10-point move. You don't buy puts after a 10-point move. That's just dumb. And you can, yeah, maybe you get lucky and you'll get a little bit of a play out of it, but you're going to end up getting on the wrong side of it really, really quick. And, trying to guess the top or the bottom is just as bad. So, but, you play the range, you understand the ranges a little bit. You can actually kind of figure out where it should turn and where it shouldn't. So, but I was looking at the hourly, also the 10-point move. I mean, it likes to reject this area right here, because you can see over here on the hourly, rejected this 44.45 area. So I was looking at that, and this was just under 445. So this 445 area is a pretty big area, especially after a 10-point move. It's going to reject it. Well, 90% of the time it's going to reject it. So that's what I was looking at. This was an exaggerated move right here, and when it got to over 445, I started looking at it and going end of day, that a lot of people are going to take their profits and it's going to end up dropping. So when you actually see these big massive moves, like you have this massive move up and you see it drop the last 10-15 minutes, it's because profit takers are taking their money. And if you see a big dump and it pops the last 10 minutes, it's because of all these shorts are covering. So you got to understand that futures, people like to take their profits before the futures close, because it opens back up. Who knows what it's going to open back up to? A gap up, a gap down significantly. So that's why you take it while you're up ahead. Only smart people do. But yeah, I had the 4460 calls puts, sorry, right here, the 445 area, 329, which is right here, right in the top of this candle, because I was using the 445 resistance area after a 10-point move. Then went from 1490 to 1820, so that was a nice little play right there. That made back most, if not almost all of my loss. So very happy with that. Then on let's see, Wednesday, I had 6 plays. I played SPY all the way, so I played the range most of the day on Wednesday too. Another range day. See, this is another monster day, tight range day, and that's what I ended up doing, is playing the range. The Trade Ideas channel on Wednesday, I said Disney puts under 127, Roku calls over 110. Never happened, didn't take it. Or if it did, I think Roku did take off, but the spreads were really, really nasty, and I just like, no, I'm not going to play that. Not when spreads are nasty. I did say SPY puts under 446. What was the timestamp on this? If it will show me, 9:35, and at 9:40 I did take puts. So you can see it popped right up. I was using this for, what was it again? 446. This area right here. You can see all this consolidation right here. You get 440 for 36 rate. Well, technically underneath these candles I like 446.40, but round down 20 EMAs right here, 446. So first candle, it started to pop, got rejected. I bought right here, grabbed the puts at a 446 puts, the 446 puts at 122, and they went from 122 to 227 right there in that little drop. Then I ended up playing 4,500 calls on SPX at 1052, which is right here. No, 1052, right here. 1052. Right here, I played them right there. I tried to go for a breakout, it looks like. I don't know why I didn't get it down here, but I don't think I realized that we're in a zone yet, but I tried to go for a breakout and did pop up a little bit. Those 4,500 calls I had at 350 went to 430, so I had an 80 cent move. So if you play SPX and you play the 50 cents plus, don't get greedy, you'll win more times than not. Most people, what they try to do is they try to get these XPX plays and they try to get these monster runs. And you may get lucky and you may get it, but the problem is you will lose more than you'll gain, and it's not worth it. If you stick to the game plan of getting 50 cents to $1, you'll do a lot better with that scenario than you will trying to nail home runs. Focus on base hits, not home runs, or you're going to get clobbered. Market will correct your greediness. So. And I have been a victim of that too, so it is what it is. So yeah, the calls went from 350 to 430, and that little pop right here. Now I didn't buy it up here. I usually buy it right here before it breaks out, because when these things do break out, they usually end up having a monster move, like right over here. Right here, see this candle? It broke out, and you have this massive red green candle right here. That's what those breakout candles end up looking like, and you don't want to chase this candle. You want to get in right before the break, so you can catch that move. But sometimes the move happens, sometimes it doesn't. But it didn't it didn't happen here. But because I was anticipating it, I was able to get a play out of it. So then I ended up switching over to puts right at 11:05 because it did not break out, because it rejected pre-market high and high today and it came back down. I did grab the puts right afterwards at 11.05, which is right here in this red candle. I had the 445, the 44.55 puts at 340, and then they went from 340 to 630 in that play right there. So that was a nice little play. Then I ended up grabbing calls at 11.42. 11.42. Right here, right above here. Yeah, I got it right here, right over VWAP. Thinking that we were going to bounce, because anytime, you know, it rejects higher day and it comes back down and it comes back up really quickly, it usually ends up going back to higher day, but it didn't, not at this candle. So the 44.90 calls I had at $4 did not really go far. They went from 4 to 4.50. Yeah, not much of anything, but stayed within the 50 cents. You could take it, even if you have to sell orders in advance. Then I took 44.65 puts at 126, which is right here, rejecting higher day again. This is where I grabbed it. You see it came back down. What time was it? 126. So I grabbed it right here. Oh yeah, I remember this. I grabbed it here, then it popped up, and it did not break out. I stayed in it, then it finally dropped. So this is another SPY move where shorts get in here and they pop up to try to take out stops, because if you grabbed it here, you can have a stop right here, and obviously they popped it enough to get stops out, but enough to stay underneath higher day. So I still stayed in it, then it finally dropped. So those 44.65 puts went from 410 to 18.60 in that dump right there. Plus, I don't remember if there was news or not. I don't really remember, but yeah, you gotta watch for these players. That's why sometimes I stay in them, and if you get them wrong, you get them wrong. But they do like to fake people out, and you can see right here too. They popped it up, and they came out and took out this low right here to take out stops. Because if you bought here for a breakout like I did, but I sold it quickly, they came back down to take out stops from right here, and they popped it. Now right here, you take the short, and they popped it just a little bit to take out the stops, and then they run it. So they went from 410 to 18.60. So that was a 300% move right there if you held all the way through. Then at the end of the day, I took SPX 44.70 calls at 249, which I did take right at 249. I took right at the 200 EMA line, which is this purple line. I took the bounce. So the 44.70 calls I had at 350. Let's see. Wait a minute here. The 44.70 calls I had at $4. No, wait a minute. Wait. I had a 350, not $4. I don't know why I managed to do that. I wasn't paying attention or something. Yeah. I had the 44.70 calls at 350, right at the 200 EMA line, and they went from 350 to 690 in that little pop right there. So stayed in the range. It did break out of the range just a little bit to tap the 200 EMA, but I was looking at, if it did manage, I actually was looking at the bounce right here. But I decided to wait because the 200 EMA was right there, and I was afraid that if it did get down a lower day, it was going to take out, they were going to flush and take out stops, take out the longs before the bounce, before they ripped it, and that's what they did. So got to anticipate these market makers' sneaky sleazebag moves, because that's what they love to do. Now Thursday and Friday was not, I mean, I did good, but I just didn't want to chase it. So let's see. No, Thursday, here we go. Yeah, this Thursday, just straight down. This is just unplayable. Unless you chased it, but we're gonna get into that when we get into it. SPY puts under 448. Facebook calls over 203 is what I had in the trade ideas room. I took SPY 449 puts at 205 at 937, which as you see right here, popped up. Well, firstly I said 448, which is right here. Then it popped up. See, this is where I would have taken it if it just dropped right away, but it didn't because it popped up. I readjusted and took it right here. blow it up more. Took it right here underneath this 448.45 area. I took the 449 puts at 205, and they went from 205 to 260 in that little drop right there. Then I ended up grabbing puts again at 1039, which should be right here. Got this little drop, popped back up, rejected VWAP, and right when it broke underneath these candles right here, this is where I grabbed it again. I grabbed the 448 puts this time at $2, and it went from $2 to 1080 if you held all the way through. There was a couple people in the room that did sell it over 10, so that was a really good play, 500% plus move. Then I decided to get brave and try to call the bottom a couple times, and I got burnt. I think the first time I tried to grab 446 calls at 1151, which is right here. Now, why did I grab it at 1151? 1150. Oh, I think right here. You can see this area on the hourly. This 443 area. Let's see, 1151. 1151. Right in here, which is the 4480 area, 4480. Yeah, I can see this. Yeah, right here, the pivot. You see rejected here, and it's support right here. So I actually thought it was going to bounce right here, and it went from 450 to, yeah, we're talking about $5 range. I tried to guess the bottom. I didn't have the 446 calls at 187. Then I ended up averaging down at 102. Let's see, I had it at 1151, which is right here. Then I averaged down at 102, which is down here, right here. Yeah, average down right there, because my initial average was 187. Then I added a bunch. I added 90 more, and then I averaged down to 102 because I bought it more at 96 cents, making my average at 102. And then after I averaged down, it flushed right here. It flushed right there, and that's where I stopped out. Got out at like 74 cents, so just a small, tiny little loss. Then after I stopped out, it popped up and it went green. So that was kind of annoying, but I was wrong, and I had such a pretty big position. I didn't want to do something stupid, so I just I took it. So I took the loss. Plus was my second loss of the week, so I'm having a good week so far. Then I ended up buying calls at 205, which is right here. 440 level is where I took it. 205 right here. I took the SPX 4430 calls at $17. I bought in the money, I believe, at the time. And yeah, they went from $17 to $22.20. So yeah, that was a nice little play. Now I grabbed it at the 440 area because of, you can see right here, resistance, support. Then it just, fell through. But this 440 area is pretty big. Plus, 450 to 440. We haven't really, well, this is the only green candle we had. So this also is what I was talking about. You have this long dump, and then you have the green pop that takes out stops right here. So when it started to look like a bottom right here, this is right, and I'm grabbing it. Plus, I was also looking at it from the point of view because of we had that, and it took out, they dropped it to new lower day to take out stops. It's also a 10-point range, and this would be a pretty good area to actually to bounce it, and plus 440. So there was like multiple reasons why I took this. I mean, 10-point range, 440 level, and they tried to pop it, then they took out stops. So to me, it looked like it was gonna be a high probability that it was gonna bounce here, and then I took it. So, and those went from, like I said, $17 to $22.20. So a nice $5 move on that. Then I ended up, because I had a nice play on that, I ended up going back to SPY calls. I didn't want people to go in the room and pay $20 a con for SPX plays on a non-expiration day, but I was kind of annoyed. Maybe it wasn't at the money, in the money. I don't know. I don't remember. If it was close, it was either at the money or in the money. I don't remember. But then I switched back to SPY calls at 231, which is... 231. From that candle, I'll have to see where I actually took it. Let's just back this up just a little bit. Okay, the one I took calls for were 205, which is right here. Oh yeah, this is the area right here. Yeah, this is where I took the SPX calls, and when it came back down, I took the SPY 440, the 440 calls, because it made a retracement. I really thought this was going to be the bottom. Got a nice little pop right there because SPX was so expensive. I took it and got out of the way. Then when it came back down to support again, this is where I ended up grabbing the SPY 440 calls at 258. And got that little push right there, and then went from 258 to 328, and that little bounce right there. So then I ended up grabbing them again at 245. Probably should have kept it down to the 1 minute. I'll bring it back to the 1 minute because it looks like I played a lot during. God, this takes forever to move over. See, I got more 440 calls at 245. Right here, I don't know why I did that. But yeah, I grabbed 440 calls right there. I'm not quite sure why I grabbed it there, thinking that maybe they were going to flush out the stops again, and I just randomly bought it right there. I don't know. There could have been. There's probably a reason. I see the RCT trend line right there on the hourly, so maybe that's why I did buy it right there. But yeah, I grabbed it right in here. 245 right in here. I think the RCT trend line was right there when I was trading it at the time. That's why I ended up grabbing it. The 440 calls at 228. They flushed it through, and then at 305, I bought more. I ended up averaging down at 154. I make my new average of 161, and then they went from 161 to $2. So yeah, I think that. Not unless the RCT trend line was down here. I can't really remember, but I'm almost certain that had a lot to do with the RCT trend line was probably down here. You can't really see it on the 10 minute because it does move based on price. Oh yeah, it was there. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's what I did. Yeah, that's what I did. I bought it right there, flushed down more. That's what I ended up buying underneath it. Yeah, that's what I ended up doing. So then I ended up, because those ones went from 161 to $2. And I ended up buying them, the SPX calls in the day at 349. You can see right here, I'll bring it down to the 1 minute again. Because it bounced twice off that area. Because I averaged down here and took it right there, and then it came back down. And this is where I grabbed SPX calls at 349, which is right here. Yeah, because we got this move. This is the one where I averaged down and sold into that pop and it dropped down. I didn't grab it right here. I kind of waited. Glad I did because it dropped down even more. Taking out stops again right here. And this is where I ended up grabbing it. I grabbed the 44.30 calls at $6.20, and then went from 620 to 960 end of day. So I was basically, like I said on Twitter, catching knives all day. This was, this is straight down. I mean, 450 to, you're talking a 12, 13 point day average. I mean, range, that's extreme for SPY. $10 to $15 range is extreme, and hardly any bounces. Just a little bounce there, a little bounce, a little bounce. I mean, but it's been straight down. You don't have, like even with COVID, when we had these massive ranges, you'd get a bounce up a few dollars and get down more, then up a few dollars and down more. The bounces were minimal, slightly, if anything. And you could get away with, mind. Chasing is just, it's not good to chase because 9 out of 10 times we're not going to have these kind of range days. And if you chase these lows for more lows, you're going to get burnt 90% of the time. This was those rare moments where it would have paid off, but I'm not chasing. I'm not buying puts after an $8 move, after a $10 move. That's just dumb in my opinion, and I'm not playing like that. If you want to do it, that's up to you. I am not. It just, you get a look at the range because SPY likes to tend to certain ranges, and if SPY does have an extreme range of 10 points or 15 points, they usually have a monster dump or pop end of the day. And right here, as you can see, they had a little bit of a pop. Look at all this, like 5 million in volume the last 10 minutes. Probably all the ES future shorts covering this short position. So should have had a bigger bounce than that, but it is what it is. So only one loss on Thursday, so I think that was my last loss for the week. No, that was my, yeah, that was my second loss for the week. So I have one more loss, which was on Friday. I was just catching knives all week. I mean, I just can't see buying puts after this kind of a drop. I just trying to guess the bottom, and I did get most of the plays. I do get one wrong once in a while, but it is what it is. You can't play something that just goes straight down like that. And Friday, I did the same thing, and I stayed away from it until the afternoon. I played Tesla most of the day on Friday. So Tesla, let's see, I had in the trade ideas room, Tesla puts under 1,000 and Roku calls over 101. Roku I knew did take off, but the spreads were too nasty. I ignored it. So here's the 1,000 area right here. Actually, 1,000 is right here. But because it tried to pop right here and it came back down, I took it right underneath this 1,005 area. I took the 990 puts at 565. And then we went from 565 to 935. That little dump, it was a quick play. I grabbed it. But it tried to pop, then it just flushed and I took it. So then when it had this little dump, it came back up to higher day. This is where I switched over to calls. I had the Tesla 1030 call. Yeah, the 1030 calls at 540. And they went from 540 to 1304 and that monster push right there. Then I ended up taking calls again. Let's see, the same ones, 1030, the 1030 calls at 1031, which is right at PDC. Oh yeah, I remember taking it right here, right when it bounced off the previous day close, which is this white line. You need to know where these previous day closes, the previous day highs, previous day lows, because they all matter. And I bought the bounce right there at $3.30, and it went from 330 to 1050, and that push up. Then I decided to buy them again at 1148, which is right here. No, right here. No, right here. I bought it right in here. 1030, no, not 1031, 1048, which is right here. For some reason I was going to buy it right here. I think I was going to buy it right off the VWAP, and then it chopped. It started to come back up. I thought for sure it was going to, it's actually going to start moving because, Tesla, we're trading it at the 1020 area, 1015 area, and it can move $20, $30 in a snap in one candle. I mean, look at here. I went from 995 to 1035, so it moved 40 points just in 3 candles. So one candle sent it in the money, so I wasn't too worried about it. Then it broke and it just dumped right there, so that ended up being a loss. But I ended up holding it, thinking, like a SPY was having a major dump and Tesla was holding up pretty well. So if SPY did having a dead cat bounce or bouncing at all, that Tesla was going to rage with it. So even though it was down here, I wasn't too worried about it. I was anticipating SPY did actually finally bounce. It might go with it, but SPY never did bounce. So yeah, that ended up being a loss. So we had 3 good trades, only 1 loss on Tesla. So then I switched over to SPX. So I took calls. I caught knives again this day. Another 10-point move, from 438 to 424, another 12-point day. I mean, this is just ridiculous. You don't usually see moves like this, and there was no news. I mean, the rate hikes are already known. There's really nothing unknown right now. The rate hikes have been known for months. The war in Russia, Ukraine is known, unless things get really, really nasty and goes nuclear or spreads to another continent or whatever. But it's just it's a known fact right now, and SPY just was freaking out. So I tried to buy the bottom, tried to catch the bottom, and I grabbed the SPX 43.45 calls at 12.20, which is rate 12.20. You know, I'm going to go down to the 1 minute, even though I don't trade the 1 minute. 12.20, which will blow up this area. 12.20 right here. I grabbed the 43.45 calls, and they went from what, 4.10 to 6.30 right here. So let's look at the 10 minute to see. You know what? I'll switch this over to the 10 minute so I can see if there's any levels. Why I took it here? Why did I take it here? $12.20. Oh yeah, I took it against this green candle right here. I had this green candle. I took the next one up right there. That's why I took that bounce. Then I ended up taking 4,300 calls at 253, which is right down here. 253, right there. Yeah, didn't grab this one right here. I waited 10 points. This is right under 10 points right here. And this is what I was talking about right here. You get almost 10 points on the range right there. Then they try to pop it up. Then they flush it out to new lower day, take out stops. Then let's see what the hourly was. I think there was something on, there was a reason why I took it on the hourly. Yeah, we can't see it, but I think that the hourly, I remember if I look in the room that the hourly RSI was like at 20, was like really, really, really low. So I thought for sure it was going to bounce. So end of day RSI, hourly RSI is below 20 or at 20. And so 10 point plus range right here. And I was thinking, okay, end of the day, this is going to pop. I mean, we have gone down $40 in 2 days. So we got to have some kind of an end of the day bounce, especially on an expiration day on Friday. So that's what I was kind of playing, 10-point range, and getting close to end of the day. And I grabbed the 4,300 calls at 445 plus 4,300. Such a big round number. They're going to try to keep it over that. And those 4,300 calls went from 445 to let's see, $13, 200% move right there. Then I ended up buying them again at 308, which is right. Wait a minute. Let me. Bought it at 253, which is right here. Then I bought it at 308. Let me bring this down. Let's see this. Okay, I bought it at 253, which is right here. I bought it right here. Sold it into that pop. No, I sold it into this pop right here. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, what did I just do? Okay, I just messed up my thing. I got this wrong. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I see what I did. Yeah. I grabbed it right here. The 4,300 calls. 253 right here. Sold into that pop, sold into this pop right here. And then I bought them again at 308, which is down here. So yeah, I sold it in here for, I don't know, 50 cents to $1 if I left to look it up. Let me see. Look it up. Yeah, I sold over $5. Yeah. That's what I ended up doing. Bought it at 445, sold it over $5. And when it dropped back down here again, I rebought it again at 470, and they went from 470 to 1840 in that push right there. So, yeah, the end of the day move wasn't really as strong as I thought. Got that candle right there. Got to pop up the view up. Then it just at the last few minutes of the day, it just dumped. Let me just bring it down to the 10 minute doesn't really show. But yeah, we got it right here. Got that bounce right here. Then it just, I really thought we were going to actually get some speed. Then it just dumped the last 20 minutes or so of the day. But when I caught this move, I just said, okay, I've had enough. And I actually was going to think about buying calls the last 10 minutes of the day, but had a good week, had a good day. I wasn't going to take any more risks, and I'm glad I didn't, because I would have taken another loss, because I would have got calls right there. But anyways, that is it for the recap. I hope this has helped, and thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the room.